So thanks again, Tony, for joining us. So we had a scrub this morning. I think the headline was the engine issues. What's the deal with this engine? Like, what was, I heard conditioning, pressure, temperature. Seems like there was a lot of different issues going on with these engines.
Yeah, the whole theme of what was going on overnight is getting that vehicle ready for launch. And that involves preparing it for those super cold fuels that are being loaded on there. So the liquid oxygen is in the neighborhood of negative 300 degrees. The liquid hydrogen is more than negative 400 degrees. So all the tanking issues we saw, some of the hydrogen leaks, that's all about temperature. So what was going on with the engines is you've got to pass fuel through those engines to prepare them for launch. And 3 of the 4 engines did just fine there. But the third, the number 3 engine there, it just wasn't able to get down to the proper temperatures to be safe for launch.
Yeah, and and on top of that, we had weather issues today as well. We had showers and lightning in the area. So I thought that was interesting in the press conference. They said, we probably would have been in a weather delay even if the engines had been in working order. So talk about the next step, because we knew this window on Friday was coming up. It's an afternoon window. Weather looks kind of sketchy because we know Florida afternoon storms. But what I'm interested in is, and when I was looking at this, I was thinking about this today, was why is the Friday launch window a shorter mission? It's 39 days versus 42 days. What's the deal with that? Is that because of the window coming back for splashdown, or what's up with that?
It's a combination of different things, and like you say, it's 39 instead of 42. And should we have to take that Monday launch window, it's back up to 42.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to availability of the resources, like you say, with splashdown off the coast of San Diego. But it also comes to where the moon is, the
Yeah.
position of the moon at the time, because that's where we're going. We're going out there to study the everything about this mission and this spacecraft to make sure it's ready for humans to take flight here in a year or two.
Yeah, so the press conference was interesting today. A lot of folks probably missed it after the fact. There were some pretty good questions. How big of an issue is this? Is there a chance they even roll the whole thing back into the assembly building? What do you think the chances that this could be a bigger issue and be a much longer delay in just a couple of days?
So it all depends on what happens with the engine issue and what the corrective action there is. So one decision I saw they made today, which was absolutely right and absolutely brilliant, what we did today turned into a wet dress rehearsal. We were able to test top to bottom, tanking this vehicle and running all these fuels through there. They decided to leave the fuel on board, and that allows just an incredible amount of data for the team to be able to gather uh, to solve this engine issue. So whatever that solution happens to be, that's going to really control whether the solution happens at the pad or they have to roll it back. And I got to ask you what you think is going to be happening with that tropical system that's down there in the south part of Florida right now. That
Yeah.
could really impact whether or not they have to roll back to the barn.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because I do think we're going to have a tropical system somewhere between the Bahamas and Bermuda. And while I don't think it would directly impact the pad, you know that all the abort areas and the recovery areas are well off the east coast of Florida. And if those are impacted by weather, that could delay the mission. And then let's say it impacts Bermuda. I'm pretty sure, doesn't that main communication go through Bermuda out there as well?
That's one of the many tracking stations out there. Yeah, so that's a consideration. Well, we got to take care of their safety too.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. We're definitely going to have more weather threats on Friday. I think we kind of knew that even today if there was a scrub, because it's the middle of the afternoon. It's late August. We've got tropical systems. So hopefully these engineering issues get figured out. I know they're working around the clock, and hopefully we don't get those figured out. And then we're sitting here on Friday waiting. But on the weather part, I think the interesting thing, today they stopped the countdown at T minus 40, right? No matter what was going to happen, you knew there was going to be a 40-minute countdown. For the weather delays, those could be much shorter, right? They could hold, and if there's a small window, they could open it back up pretty quickly, correct?
Absolutely true. The conditions have to be right at launch time and throughout the flight, along that path of the flight. And as long as they can find that amount of time that meets the launch weather criteria, it can go.
Yeah.
So It really comes, it's every launch is a 50-50 proposition. It's either going to launch or it's not to, and that sounds flippant, but we
Yeah.
see with the weather and we see with the technical issues, it's really what it comes down to. These are complex machines that have people around them. We want to make sure everybody's safe. We want to make sure the vehicle's safe.
Yeah, and I mean that's the whole point of these safety issues. I think it's great that they do. I know it's frustrating for folks, spectators like us who want to see it, but this is the whole point of testing it. If there were humans on this, they would take every precaution the same way. So if we wait for Friday, it doesn't happen Friday. We go Monday. Now, if there hasn't been other windows released, would there possibly be other windows opened up down the road if we do keep getting this pushed back?
I've seen some planning documents that indicate that there are windows that are available even through December. So
Oh,
there's
wow.
many opportunities to do this. Patience is really the important thing right here. We test like we fly, like you say. There could be humans on this at some point, so they're going to do this the right way. This is a unique vehicle, and we don't want to take chances with it.
All right. Thanks again, Tony. The good news about Friday, even if we have to deal with weather, at least we don't have to get up early. It's in the middle of the day. And I ate all my Artemis donuts today. They were very good from Krispy Kreme. I was a little surprised there was cream cheese in the middle. I thought it was going to be whipped cream, but the topping was worth it alone.
So hopefully they'll do that again on Friday and maybe Monday. Bad news about Monday is that launch window is even later, which is
Oh,
probably even more volatile weather. But like you say, hope they get that technical issue worked out and don't have to roll back to the vehicle assembly building, and we can get this off on Friday.